The benefits of gratitude for health are almost too many to name. We can talk about benefits for mental health. We can talk about benefits for physical health. We can talk about benefits for relations and our social connections. As a cardiologist, people are most interested to know about the heart benefits and often surprised to learn that people who, number one, practice gratitude and number two, have the qualities of gratitude tend to have lower blood pressure, tend to get a better night's sleep, and if there's any issues with the heart, congestive heart failure, there has been research now showing that people who are more grateful tend to have better outcomes and reduced levels of inflammation in their heart. I always find it helpful to kind of back up and say, well, what is gratitude anyway, if people are wondering? And gratitude is really a way of looking at the world that is filled generally with appreciation, whether it's for small things or big things. It's kind of a mindset. It's also an outlook that's related to optimism, and it tends to see the good things around us rather than focusing on the negatives. So gratitude can be done very quickly in the moment. So right now, for instance, you and I can practice gratitude. I can just say thank you. Thank you for letting me share something that's so important. Gratitude can also be something much more formal. At the end of today, we can get out notebooks and you can keep a little journal, a little gratitude journal. And there's tremendous benefit writing down 3 good things that happened to you today. It helps us shift our focus, which tends to be on negative things and things we worry about, and helps us reframe the way we see our life towards more positivity, more positive experience. We don't ever want to force it. There's something called toxic positivity where somebody is, even if it's that Thanksgiving table where, you know, your uncle is arguing with you about politics and you try to say, I'm going to just stay positive. Turns out that that can backfire. So we don't want to force gratitude in moments when we're having conflict or difficult emotions. The best thing there is to just pause, recognize that we're having a difficult moment, even give it a name to ourselves and say, okay, I'm getting frustrated again. This happens when I'm with my uncle or whoever it is. And just give ourselves a little bit of kindness in that moment. To be in a difficult moment, understanding that holidays can be very challenging when we're around relatives sometimes or other family members. And so gratitude will come after that. The first step is to just be patient with ourselves and allow any emotions that want to come up to come up. We know that during COVID, there's actually another epidemic of insomnia, and it's COVID insomnia, and it's very, very high rates right now. The good news is that research shows people who practice gratitude with that journaling practice we talked about, or who tend to develop the habit of gratitude, sleep better at night. And it could be that it's impossible to be grateful and angry in the very same moment, or grateful and afraid in the exact same moment. So when we're going to bed at night and we're processing the stress of our day, even around the holidays, if we keep that gratitude practice, we sleep better at night. There are other benefits in terms of social relationships. If I come to you and I tend to be angry and hostile and pushy and negative and critical, what's going to happen? You're not going to want to talk to me. We're not going to get along very well, and our connection is really not going to get stronger. But people who bring gratitude, even to difficult situations, tend to receive more openness and gratitude from other people, strengthening social connections, which by itself is also good for the heart and has its own whole host of benefits. In photography, they say that the best camera is the one that you have with you. So don't worry about getting a fancy book or a journal. You can do that to make it a special experience if you want to. Buy yourself a nice journal, put it on the bedside, and right before bed, instead of scrolling Instagram or Facebook, just say, I know that this practice has benefits. I'm going to do it for a week or two. And you write down 3 things that happened to you that day. They can be tiny things like, I didn't get cut off in traffic, or they can be big things like I met an incredible person. But what I would say is if you don't have that, just take out your phone, your device, we all have them. Use the Notes app. You don't need anything special, and just start a note and just label it gratitude or what I'm thankful for or who I'm thankful for. And set yourself a reminder. Just say 12 o'clock, remind me to practice my gratitude. Take 1 minute or 2 minutes and just type in somebody really nice that you're thankful for. And if you want to go one step further, if it's about a person, what you can do each and every day is send a gratitude text. We're texting all the time, and how often do we actually pause to say thank you? And if you want to do that practice, you'll see the benefits right away. You want to say thank you. You want to tell the person what you're thankful for. And you also want to say how it's meaningful to you, what they've done for you. There are two ways of being, and we've got thousands of emotions. Generally speaking, the heart cares about whether emotions are stressful and create emotional distress and activation and tightness and constriction, or whether the emotions like happiness and love and optimism and gratitude have the opposite effect, which tends to relax the system. So once we kind of separate our experience into those two, emotions that are generally healthy for the heart and emotions that are damaging to the heart, like hostility, anger, cynicism, hatred, here we can talk about how it happens. And there's a chain of events going from the mind, which tries to make sense of our experience and gives us names for emotions, like I'm feeling really frustrated now. Then there is an activation of what's called the sympathetic nervous system, which has a whole chain reaction, resulting in a constriction of our blood vessels, a quickening of our heartbeat, a raising of our blood pressure, and even an increased stickiness of the blood cells and an increase in inflammation as a result of cortisol release. And so when we practice gratitude, we can activate the opposite pathway, which is called the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps us relax, connect with others, feel joy and appreciation. It tends to lower the heart rate, lower the blood pressure, decrease inflammation in the blood vessels, and the combination of all of these, plus, as we mentioned, better sleep, which can lead to better health choices, better nutritional choices, those have their own benefits in terms of our cardiovascular health. I generally tell people that love is the best medicine, and I still believe that. If I had to pick a number two, I would say gratitude is the next best thing.